Everything about this, and I do mean everything, is just so gosh darn iconic. And honestly, if there's anything that really did lose in 2024, it wasn't Kamala. No, it was the woke mind virus.
Who don't believe boys should play girls' sports.
They're not boys. I'm not going to listen to transphobia at this table. I am not going to listen to you call a trans girl a boy.
Are you going to allow me to finish my explanation?
When you use a word...
And Donald Trump is here to save the day. The Guardian just posted this. I'll just read the headline for you, okay? Trump sues for billions from media he says is biased against him. Biased against him? What? How on earth could he have ever gotten that conclusion?
What is wrong with our country that the Republican Party would choose as a candidate and support a candidate who is an insurrectionist, who is an election denier, who is someone who is twice impeached, 34-time convicted felon?
They hate misinformation. They don't like disinformation, or at least they always call it out when they accuse somebody else of using it, even though more often than not, the people who they accuse of using either one of those two words that they practically invented, the people who they claim to be a threat to democracy, spreading misinformation, yada, yada, oftentimes actually end up being correct.
So it takes someone 5 minutes to Google Jake Tapper, Donald Trump, to see that Jake Tapper has consistently, frequently likened President Trump to Adolf Hitler.
Ma'am, I'm going to stop this interview if you continue to attack my colleagues. I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
Yes.
If you are here to speak on his behalf, I am willing to have this conversation.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Caroline?
The thing about this that really is the cherry on top is we've all seen the absolute Lib Meltdown since Trump got elected. Dare I refresh your memory?
It's so invalidating. But I'm white. I should not be taking up space, because right now the people who have it much worse than I do are people who don't share the same skin color as me, which is so, like, why are we still judging people on that? Race is a fucking social construct that white people created to make themselves feel good about the dehumanization of other people.
I can't believe Trump's actually going to win this thing. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm so pissed off. God damn it.
America, how can you do this to us again? How are we supposed to live another 4 years like this? What the hell?
And despite the fact that he did win, he also won the popular vote in an absolute landslide victory. The media is still trying so hard to defame him, to slander him, to smear his name on any wall they can find, even though the world has spoken and Donald Trump actually resonates with most of us far more than mainstream media ever did. Donald Trump had already submitted all the paperwork needed in order to sue the New York Times, who he described as, quote, every intention of defaming and disparaging the world-renowned Trump brand that consumers have long associated with excellence, luxury, and success in entertainment, hospitality, and real estate, among many other industries, as well as falsely and maliciously defaming and disparaging him as a candidate for the highest office in the United States. On top of that, he went after a number of journalists and authors who work at Penguin Random House and the Daily Beast under similar allegations. Though, I mean, is it really an allegation when they publish all of this work and they say it loudly and proudly? And now Donald Trump and his campaign lawyers are suing CBS News, alleging in a lawsuit last month that its 7th October interview with Kamala Harris on 60 Minutes was edited and was hence election interference. The 19-page brief sought $10 billion in damages and accused CBS of going into overdrive to get Kamala elected. It also accused the outlet of partisan and unlawful acts of voter interference through malicious, deceptive, and substantial news distortion. What? Substantial news distortion?
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
And this just keeps getting better. In response, CBS called the lawsuit completely without merit. They also denied that the interview was edited and vowed to vigorously defend against the lawsuit.
We've taken, with all of the abuse we've taken from the fake news media, all of this horrific abuse we take, and all I want to do is make the country great. All I want to do is have strong borders and good education. We want to have choice for education. So important, so many different things. You would think it would be the other way. We rebuilt the military. We did so many great things. But that's the way it's been for Republicans, and I guess more so for me than anybody in history, and that's okay.
You know what is absolutely laughable about this, though? So the Committee to Protect Journalists has called Trump's threats against the press a clear and direct danger to media freedom. Really there. He's a danger to media freedom because you lied. You were untruthful. You intentionally were saying things that are not accurate or factual. You've been reciting the propaganda for your party, and he is the danger to freedom. Isn't that something? The CPJ goes on to write, the hostile media climate fostered during Donald Trump's first presidency, expected to continue in his forthcoming second term, poses great risks to media inside and outside of the country. No, it doesn't. You are liars. You're liars, and you got caught. That's what the real threat is. The fact that you are putting yourself up there on this big hierarchy of you should trust us because we are the media, but you are lying and you are deceiving people, misleading them. You're editing things so that people believe you over somebody else. And honestly, no accountability with these people, no self-awareness, such a deep victimhood mentality. But I guess if that's all you talked about is how you're such a victim in this cruel, cruel war. I'm such a victim working for CBS. I'm such a victim working for the New York Post, making more money than almost anybody else in the country does. I'm a victim. Yeah, okay. It's no wonder why these people have that mentality, though. Quote, attacking the press is really an attack on American citizens' right to know. Trump's new administration can and must change its tune with the media and take concrete steps to protect journalists and develop a climate conducive to a robust and pluralistic news media. You should have sent that as an internal memo, maybe to your staff, instead of making that your statement, because the world has woken up. And we know that you are a liar. But I suppose things were far different for you before, when you had the government on your side and you could spew your hate and lies without any consequences. Well, guess what, baby? You always have to pay the piper at the end of the day. It's no wonder why mainstream media is digging its own grave as they bring in record low profits and they rely on subsidies and grants and donations more than ever because nobody is watching you.
Tulsi Gabbard is someone who has met with war criminals, violated the Department of State's guidance, and secretly, clandestinely went to Syria and met with Assad, who gassed and attacked his own people with chemical weapons. She's considered to be essentially, by most assessments, a Russian asset, and would be the most dangerous.
Is that how you consider her? Is that what you consider her?
Oh, yes. There's no question.
Nobody cares about you. Nobody wants to know what you think. Your biased, narrative, woke, ideological opinion does not matter. It does not resonate, and we don't care. And if you feel as though people are being really hard on you right now, it's because you did it to yourself.
It is a common feature of authoritarianism and fascism that the nation is called to come together under the autocrat and accept that his incompetent lackeys are our betters. The idea that any random white guy or right-thinking woman with zero background is inherently superior to any black person or woman, no matter how many degrees or qualifications they have, is a conceit of fascism and ethno-nationalism that, no, we cannot come together around. We cannot come together around mass deporting millions of immigrants and potentially separating families or throwing them into internment camps. We can't come together around kicking women or gay, bi, or trans people out of the military just because macho man weekend TV guys said so. We cannot come together around Elon Musk who runs an app infused with racism and misogyny, and who gamed that app to sway an election, and now essentially co-owns a president alongside Vladimir Putin.
There are so many examples of this, and just these absolute outright lies. Like, it's so abhorrent, the things that these people have been allowed to do and encouraged to do by the opposing party, who also wanted to suppress that voice, who wanted to silence you, who wanted the public, the weak-minded public that they had created by, you know, putting fluoride in the water, which is a crazy conspiracy theory, except it actually does. Scientifical data, these people trust the science, right? Oh wait, not that science. We only want you to trust our science with this guy that we paid off who's not even a freaking scientist. Even though studies from 10 plus years ago absolutely confirm that fluoride lowers children's IQ, yet it's in all of our water here in the West. But oh yeah, Robert Kennedy Jr., he sure is some crazy nut job that you shouldn't believe conspiracy theorists.
Definitely did not expect to be asking you about fluoride in water 2 days before the election.
I was a little shocked that one of their closing arguments for Donald Trump was take the fluoride out of water.
He's going to have a big role in healthcare, a very big role. He knows it better than anybody.
We haven't talked about this at all in the last 700 days, but suddenly the thing that's been normal in this country for 80 years, it's like, we're going to get rid of that on day one.
And of course, you have weak-minded individuals, possibly affected by the fluoride, who knows, who just believe that because it's what they hear. And because, yeah, it sounds crazy that fluoride in the water that the government put in our water would lower IQ levels. That sounds crazy, except it's true. God bless the USA, and seriously, I am so unbelievably excited for Donald Trump to get in there and clean house. I'm Jasmine Lane. Thanks for watching another episode of Over Opinionated, and I will talk to you very soon. If you liked it, let me know by hitting that thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel, and if you don't want to miss an episode, make sure you tap that notification bell.